fathers have to understand that solving problems physically or being irate is not the way. So we're going to talk about some pro-social behavior as it pertains to domestic violence. So we're going to have some real dialogue on different levels of domestic violence, from power and control to talk about equality and things that really affect children and men and families. So domestic violence is a sticky thing because there's different things that we bring into the table that we may not consider domestic violence. But join us as we explore what domestic violence looks like. Join us. All right, we're back again to provide some support to fathers and families. We realized during this isolation that statistics are starting to show that there are high rates of domestic violence occurring. So we're going to talk about healthy relationship as it pertains to domestic violence, tips you can do to address it, but we're going to also talk about some of the issues that entail domestic violence. What does that look like? Realize that there's a Duluth model called power and control, and we're going to touch base on some of that. But we're going to open it up talking about domestic violence, how that impacts kids, what causes domestic violence, some issues that kind of go along with that. So we're just going to open that up and begin now.
I've seen the impact in children. You know, children tend to grow up and mimic what they see. And if they're in a violent household, sometimes it tends to overflow to them at school. If, you know, let's say for instance, if a little boy is watching his dad hit his mom, he may think it's okay to hit little girls, you know. So over time, that just becomes a cycle, not just within your own house, but it expands outside of the house.
Gotcha. So it's more of a learned behavior in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
So if a kid watches that, he begins to model what he watches, because we realize the family is a microcosm for the whole world. He feels like the whole world operates like this, and this is a form of masculinity. This is what men do. I've heard even stereotypes of dealing with relationships. Men say, well, you got to learn how to keep your woman in check. You got to teach them a lesson, and if you can't rule over them, if they won't listen to you, sometimes you got to put hands on them, they say. But and some men perpetuate that cycle. What do you think?
You know, I do think that's the case, because a lot of men, you know, you got to be masculine. And if you look at our society today, we're taught violence. That's, you know, violence, for whatever reason, we believe that violence solves problems, violence gets you the answers you're looking for. I don't know why, but that's what a lot of us believe. And so we take that mentality into the home. And so when she or he doesn't do what we think they should do or what we want them to do, then we feel like they're trying to take the power from us. So we've got to show our violence, that physical presence, to get them back in line, so to speak.
Gotcha.
And you know, I just want to let y'all, that's the wrong thinking, by the way, wrong thinking. But I think we have to change our mindsets about how we feel about people not doing what we want them to do. Allowing people to be their own individuals and not making our bad day somebody else's bad day.
And could domestic violence be a symptom of insecurity?
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm insecure, then in order to assert my dominance and gain some power, then I must act aggressive because of insecurity.
I think so.
What do you think?
I think that's very powerful, and I think it ties back in the lack of control. And so, if I'm physically stronger than you, I have to exert myself on you to show, prove that I am secure in myself and I have control on you. I need you to do what I want you to do. If you can't do it by me just telling you that, I'm gonna do it by force, which is so powerful and so destructive. Because when your children are looking and they're modeling that and they're seeing that type of behavior, and I know growing up, we hear this term, you do as I say, not as I do. But that is totally a moronic statement, because children learn they are very visual. They're like sponges. So what they see, they're going to emulate, and then they're going to perpetuate. Like Daniel was saying, it becomes a toxic cycle. So now we have to learn different coping mechanisms, learning how to share, talk, and not put hands on people.
Gotcha.
Because that's destructive.
You know, I have a question for you guys. You know, who breaks the chain? You know, who breaks that cycle when men are raised in this vicious cycle and they're raised in violence and this is how you assert yourself? Like, who breaks that chain? Who do men talk to, or where do they go in order to get that chain broken?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that that's a valid question, because if I'm feeding myself negativity, I'm reinforcing those mores or those toxic values, if you will, and I perpetuate that when I feel stressed. Especially in this environment, people are quarantined, they're in the home, they have not addressed those issues, and the stress, because now I'm not working. Where's my money coming? So I'm stressed about. I'm having anxiety because I don't know whether or not I'm going to get paid this week. I haven't worked, or I can't find a job. There's so many uncertainties that can lead to a level of anxieties. And those that are custodial parents that are in the home with their significant other or their wife, that anxiety sort of creates an environment that if I don't know how to cope, now I'm in the environment with someone that I have not learned how to show the right behavior. Domestic violence can happen. And right now the rates have picked up since this crisis, because folks that have not learned how to cope, how not to address the anxiety, that pathology is still in them right now. And so now we really need to talk about show men, how do I deal with that, and how to, and sometimes by saying that nothing's wrong with me, you know, just perpetuate the cycles, because there's something called hot buttons. And all of us have hot buttons, right? That someone can, if they, I'm okay, but when you do this, my escalation can go to 1 to 10 or 1 to 7, and sometimes just knowing yourself. What are my hot buttons? You know.
Do you think, like, we try to, you know, some people try to overcompensate with their physical dominance because of their mental weakness?
Oh, that's good.
Absolutely.
Like because here say, you know, my only way I can show I'm the man of the house is this, but my spouse might be smarter. My spouse might make more money. My spouse may not, you know, need me as much as I think she should need me.
So insecurity complex.
Yeah. So, you know, even over time, and we've had this conversation, that one of the good things that's happened is women are making just as much money as men in today's society.
Right, if not more.
If not more. Education level is up. And a lot of people can't balance that. You know, a lot of men may not be able to accept, I'm less of a man because she makes more money than me. But you can still be a leader in your family with your vision, not so much as your physical presence and your monetary donations.
I think that was powerful, because you have to realize you guys are not in competition with each other. You are completing one another. You are a family unit. So, like you were saying, I don't have a problem with she making as much money or more money with me, because I know what I bring to the table.
Absolutely.
And that's value. So you have to realize, change your mindset to like you're less than a man. No, you're not less than a man. It's just you ought to celebrate her for having an accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Now, what do I bring to the table? How do I add value? And build that and create that, foster that environment to where they both can thrive, and the children can thrive as well.
And I add another aspect to that too. So if it's that, you know, you feel intimidated by your woman, then what's stopping you from, you know, possibly going to get more education or getting more training, more certifications? What's stopping you from going and doing more so that you can bring more to the table?
Well, I think it goes along with what Terrence just said. It goes back to self-efficacy. How do I see myself? You know, because you can have someone, let's say the man makes more money.
Correct.
But he still has not reached a level of security within himself. And insecurity could come from different things. You can have a man that didn't have his father in his life. So there's a level of insecurity there. Or we do have absent mothers as well.
Absolutely.
So that may be an insecurity. And sometimes men women end up doing time for a crime she didn't commit. So if my mother was not in my life and I was raised by my grandmother or raised by my father, now I have this insecurity in my subconscious because I'm angry with my mother, but I'm taking it out on my girlfriend. Because now I have this mindset that I have this distrust for women. because the first woman that broke my heart was my mother.
Wow.
So now when I get with this lady, she becomes my wife or girlfriend, I have this insecurity that she's going to leave me like my mother did. So in order to keep her from leaving me, I have to control the situation. I have to control the relationship. I have to dominate it because technically I'm shielding my heart from pain by controlling you. So to make sure you don't do me wrong, I need to monitor your cell phone calls. I need to know who your friends are. I need to know why you just getting here. And you're supposed to get here 20 minutes. I need to have this control because that control is protecting me. It's protecting me from you walking out. So this is where, so if you violate what I think you shouldn't have did, now I got to put my hands on you because watch this, hurting people will hurt people.
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
Hurting people will hurt people. So sometimes this is where we get into power and control. If I can't have control, I got to exert power because some of the most insecure people will display this behavior because it's a level of control. I need to control to keep you from hurting me. I need to go ahead and control you just to save myself.
So I want to back up to something you said in the beginning of it when mom is not around. So do you think like a lot of someone's anger is because towards women is because I didn't have a woman to pour into me?
Absolutely. And just this thing, I want to say this. We sanitize, so y'all saw me touch the shoulder. And we sanitize, so go ahead. Just put that disclaimer out there.
But, when we talked about co-parenting and, both parents pouring into their kids' values, this and that, and you got someone who's missing the values of a woman.
Absolutely.
So if I don't never see how a woman is supposed to be treated, I've never witnessed it or whatever, and I see my woman almost like I see my kids, I dominate the house. I don't know how to separate, hey, wife, kids, I want to rule everything. So you do what I say, and and that person is supposed to be here. And then it translates, like I say, down to the kids. So if, with the boys seeing it, they may think that's how I'm supposed to be. But one of the scary parts is that if your daughter sees it, she's more accepted to it.
Yeah.
I saw my mom take
creating another cycle.
So, if a man talks trash to me, it's okay. If a boy puts his hands on me, he ain't really meant to do it. And they get into defending the actions all because, like you said earlier, it's a norm almost.
And if dad does it, and dad is the one who's supposed to love me, so if I get a boyfriend, if a young lady gets a boyfriend, he really don't love me unless he hits me. It is very important to spend quality time with your children. And we're going to show and demonstrate some things you can do with your children while you're at home with them. How you can just take a football or a soccer ball and go outside and just kick the ball around and play with your kids. We're going to have some demonstration of that. But also it's very important for you to spend leisure time in the educational department of your children. It makes children feel so valued for a father to sit down and read books to your children, to talk to them and let them know that you are interested in them. So spending time with your children is very powerful. Join us as we go through these sessions to talk about spending time with your children, but also to demonstrate what that looks like. He really don't love me unless he acts possessive.
Absolutely.
So now it's cute that he acts possessive. Now it's cute that he got mad. Child, he got mad and pushed me down when he thought I was talking to somebody. Dog, he sure loved me. So we get into that because there's a mindset, there's a paradox created because I am equating love with being possessive, being dominant, and being physical. Because my dad loves me, and I saw my dad grab my mom and shake her, because that's how when men really love you, child, they act crazy. What you did to that man, he gone fool over you. Yeah. And they take that as a normal behavior. Oh, he went crazy. Girl, he went crazy. He wouldn't let you go. No, that man loves you, child. You better keep him. Not realizing That is an abnormal behavior.
Come on.
That is deviant behavior. But it's sad when the abnormal becomes normal.
Yeah. And I just want to chime in because I think it's so powerful that our curriculum is called healthy relationship.
Healthy relationship.
See, a lot of people don't know the difference between a healthy relationship and a toxic relationship.
Right.
So now they're thinking, okay, a toxic relationship is, like you were saying, that the norm. No, but until somebody brings into light something other than what you have, see, you can't identify a problem that you never addressed. So until you address the problem, I don't really have a problem. I think this is how I grew up. This is how it's supposed to be. So until you come here and get this teaching, the healthy relationships, and let me know that, and challenge those beliefs and those mindsets of how you grew up, and having those conversations, those transparent conversations. Like, okay, I grew up this way. I grew up this way. Wait a minute. Well, maybe that was the right way. Maybe Daddy was supposed to do Mama that way. But nobody ever challenges those belief systems. You think you continue those cycles.
Because you run into a lot of issues when you challenge people on issues they don't even realize they have.
Come on, sir.
Oh, man, you might run into a fight right there.
Well, think about it. You cannot conquer that you will not confront.
Oh, that's good.
You cannot conquer that which you will not confront. So it goes back to what you're saying. Sometimes we have to take, and people have echograms done or echo maps and family trees, and we go back and we look at the genetic material that's in our DNA over a period of time. We look at, people do a DNA test to find out who your grandfather was and who your great-great, and we look at it from a genetic standpoint. But we need to do an echo map and look at what social issues that we have passed down generation. Okay, this is my grandfather, who he was. But what did grandfather do that my father may be mimicking, that his grandfather did? Because there are passed down behaviors and patterns that we look at the genetics, but we never look at the social and the psychological generational things that we pass down, those behaviors and those mores that we inhabit. Because and of course the age-old question has always been with social sciences, which influence you more, the nature or nurture? Wow. Is it your genetics or is it your social surroundings? And so there's evidence to show that a little bit of both. So is it nature or nurture? And sometimes, however we were nurtured, we end up replicating that.
Absolutely.
Now I'll make 2 points, and it's one to go back to James' original question of how do you break the cycle. But to tie into something you just said when you were demonstrating about what the girls were saying to each other, if it's a norm in our social circle, and like Terrence said, you're gonna need somebody in your circle that said it's not okay.
Come on. Yeah.
Like if all four of us are sitting up here, yeah, man, I hit my girl, you hit it, and nobody never says, nah, man, that ain't right. We go keep doing it.
Yeah.
But then too, you have to justify, like that's a hard conversation, like you're saying, with someone to sit there and say, hey, listen, sis, come away from this. That's when the cycle is broken, when somebody with some good common sense steps in and say, this is not normal. When we watch TV shows and they're showing people always accepting something.
Oh, music videos.
Yeah.
They show videos with a guy, music artist showing women on leash.
Yeah.
And pouring stuff on them, and women just
But if for our girls and our women, if it's so normal, it's gonna be even harder for the guy, because you could be a stand-up guy and you meet a girl who's in her social circle, they're used to it, and y'all get in an argument and you don't touch it, she may not even know how to accept you. Like,
the good guy always lose, right?
Yeah. It's like,
because what we're paying in culture.
Yeah, because
right.
He didn't raise his hand at me like,
he doesn't really love me.
But then now,
if he loved me, he would have got aggressive.
Oh, you soft, this and that, or then they start at you, and then we have domestic violence the other way around.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Because although a lot of times when we say domestic violence, we think man to woman.
Yeah.
That is probably 25% of most domestic violence cases are women to men.
because it's go unreported because the man is not going to call because I'm going to look weak
Yeah,
if I call
if I
and say this
tell-
woman is beating on me.
I call the police, they're not going to believe
Look
me.
how big you are.
Yeah.
You know, you scared of this little woman. You know, ain't
But
nothing
then
wrong
if
with
you
that.
restrain her,
Yeah.
Right.
you're going to get locked up. So it's like...
So both parties need to be aware of what a healthy relationship is versus a toxic relationship.
Yes, sir.
Now, a couple of things we want to touch on is there are some things that constitute domestic violence that we don't even pay attention to. And we're going to go over a couple of those things. One of the, and this is from the power and control, because domestic violence is a form of power and control. All right. One of the things is emotional abuse. Form of domestic violence, emotion abuse, where you put her down and call her names.
Wow.
Right? If she's not doing what I want to do, you ain't nothing anyway. You ain't, your mama wasn't nothing. You know, you look at you. I can have somebody better than you. Putting her down, calling her names, making her think she's crazy, humiliating her in front of her friends.
Wow.
That's domestic violence. Emotional abuse
Wow.
is a form of domestic violence.
Lowering that person's self-esteem to where they feel like, I can't make it without you, and I can't do better.
And that's giving me power.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like you're confident, you may be confident enough to leave me. Or you may feel confident enough to go find somebody else better. So I need to put you down to make sure you stay on that level. Because I'm afraid that you might leave me.
And for a lot of people, putting you down in public means lifting me up. You know, just
I'm
like
destroying your value.
Right. Just like with bullying. Bullies do the same thing.
Bullying,
if
yeah.
I can put you down in public, it lifts me up.
Wow.
Or in their mind, they don't realize they look like a fool.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
in their mind, they're lifting themselves up, and you really look like a fool. It takes for a human being to put another person down in public. Man, it takes some type of weakness in here.
That's right.
To do that.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is, and on the backside of that goes with dependency, financial. You know, if you got somebody who's like not financially able to leave, you know, I'm the man. I've been the provider. I have a little bit more control over the whole situation. So then now, my words mean more.
Well, that's economic abuse, and we're going to get to that. That's economic abuse.
Yeah. Wow.
But emotional abuse, the next form of abuse we want to talk about is isolation. Isolation is I control what she does. I control where she goes. I can control who her outside involvement is. I have jealousy to justify my action.
Wow.
So I have to isolate her. Girl, you can't go around your family. Or who that girl you talking to? No, I don't want you with her. I don't want you with her.
Wow.
Well, I'm about to go to my friend's house. Nah, you ain't going nowhere.
I'm going with you.
I'm going with you. Yeah, I can go anywhere I want. I can go hang out with my boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can go have boys' day out or boys' night out where we go and watch the game, football. But if she wants to go do her girls' night out, she can't go because I have to isolate her. I have to
There's
control.
a time limit.
There's a time limit. All right, girl. Matter of fact, you say you're going to be back at 11:30? Okay, all right, good. Come in. Got the door locked. You take your time to unlock the door. 11:42, girl. Where you been?
Wow.
Where you been? Yeah. What you mean where I been? I was just about. Nah, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
Over 12
Isolation.
minutes.
Then it turns to abuse and grabbing and shoving, naming and blaming and shaming. So that's isolation.
Wow.
And then putting that fear in, so it's like I've instilled fear in you for being 12 minutes late. Well, maybe the next time you might get back 30 minutes early, but I'm still have a problem with it till you get to the point where you don't want to go.
Yeah. Oh man,
That's almost like slavery. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, but you have to realize you have to realize over time. It's training someone to get them to where you want to go.
Yeah, that's
You
control.
know, it's almost like potty training. It's almost like training a pet. I want you here. And no matter what, I'm cutting out this influence. I'm cutting out this influence. Oh, you and Terrence, y'all grew up as classmates. Y'all been friends 40 years.
How I know y'all friends?
Yeah, how I know it ain't more than
Go in the
that.
grocery store and speak to somebody. Hey, how you doing? Who is that? Who's
now-
that speaking to you?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Terrence, well, I'm going to limit our contact. Boom. And I see what I said made you do it. Okay, eliminate target one. Oh, my sister. And then, you know, the sisters come around. Girl, you need to leave. I done heard your sister tell you to leave me. This is that. You know, we ain't doing all them family. I don't rock with them like that. Trimming it down. Trimming it down.
Till you are that world.
Yeah. So now everything is about. Then I'm gonna overcompensate by. We're going here tonight. I'm taking you here. All the places you want that you
But
would
she's
normally.
with you, but she's not happy because she's really being controlled.
Because you want to be with my friends. I'm showing up to your happy hour with you. You know, you normally go to the movies with you. I'm going.
Or popping up on her job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And there's some women that, for years of doing domestic abuse counseling, I've seen there have been women that literally had to quit their jobs because the man is not comfortable with them being able to socialize with other men on the job because have to have that control and security.
Wow.
That's why.
That's
isolation
scary.
is a form of domestic
Or
violence.
That is
they're
scary.
confronting your friends. You know, not with you there. Oh, I saw Derek sent you text good morning. Next thing you know, somebody's inboxing you, man, who are you? Or they actually research you till they find you in the street.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I it's been some years ago now where I had a friend of mine. This guy called me because she had texted me and asked me about a job. I was working at a job. She asked me about, trying to get on where I was working at. And her boyfriend called me the next day and was like, who are you? How does she have your number? Where do you live? Where are you from? And I'm like, at this time, I'm like, bro, I'm the guy. I don't need your girl,
Right.
and it just brought that back to me. I'm like, so that's what happened. I didn't know what it was at that point, but you guys just made it.
Using isolation.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed those sessions, feel free to give us a call. The number listed, and you have our website. Call us because we are ready to serve. We realize this, that building families is very important because family is the bedrock of society. When you build families, one family will affect a community. A community will affect the town. The town will affect the city, and the city will affect the nation. So we have to realize family embraces everything that we want to be. We want to be sustainable, we want to be secure, and we want to be strong. So help us build families one father at a time.